Welcome. You are listening to Aftersight. This recording is intended solely for individuals who are blind or have low vision.
Thank you for joining us for the June 13th, 2024 Thursday reading of the Montrose and Delta News, as seen in the June 10th, 2024 edition of the Montrose Mirror. Today we will be reading the following main articles. DMEA announces results of quiet election by Gail Marvell. Halt the Dolores, notes from the West End by Doris Van Ness, and following up with other miscellaneous articles. And let's begin. DMEA announces results of quiet election by Gail Marvell. Montrose. The Delta Montrose Electric Association, the DMEA, held their annual meeting on June 6, 2024 at Columbine Middle School in Montrose. The treasure hunt-themed meeting included a gift bag with local products, face painting, a photo booth, community booths, live entertainment, and food trucks. The event was scheduled from 4:30 to 8:30 p.m, with the business meeting scheduled from 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. The event was well attended, but the business portion of the meeting was not a big draw for participation. Still, the threshold of 50 registered members met the requirements for a quorum. Absent was Board of Director Ino Hoysha. All of the board members were present. Board President Stacia Cannon opened the meeting with a Pledge of Allegiance. Damon Lockhart gave the prayer, and Jacob Gray reported the quorum. Eye rolls, head shakes, and a courtesy laugh went to Kevin Williams when he offered levity, when he said electrical puns are revolting. The 2023 audit is available on the DMEA website. It was reported that DMEA and its subsidiary Elevate are on strong financial footing, and the audit review is positive. Cannon recognised Board Director Bill Patterson, term limited, and thanked him for his 12 years on the board and his contribution to the co-op. Cannon gave the president's report. There are 42 million people across the US that co-ops are delivering power to. We offer safe, affordable, and reliable energy. There is no rate increase for 2024, nor are we projecting a rate increase for 2025. Chief Executive Officer, the CEO, Jack Johnston, introduced a few out-of-town partners who contribute to the success of DMEA, and he expressed gratitude for the DMEA team of 125 members. He said, "Last year we had 55,000 phone calls and 14,000 emails. We've had an amazing, successful and productive year." Johnston highlighted DMEA's humanitarian projects, for example, Light Up the Navajo, Operation Roundup, installing power to some homes in Guatemala, sponsorships and scholarships. He said each month 9,000 members round up their electric bills to help others less fortunate with their electric bills. Funds are dispersed by the Operation Roundup board. There were no audience questions during the Q&A. However, 2 members offered compliments. Election results and newest members of the DMEA board are District 1, Ryan Sedgley, received 2,519 votes, that's 58.1%. Sedgley defeated contender Toby Romero Jr. In District 2, Steve Matheny received 1,605 votes, that's 36.4%. Matheny defeated contenders Ken Norris and Jesse Hayward. In District 5, Kevin Williams, who was unopposed, received 100% of the votes, which was 3,748. With no further business, Cannon adjourned the meeting and attendees continued to enjoy the rest of the event. Halt the Dolores, notes from the West End by Doris Van Ness. Nuclear. It was announced on Sunday, June 2nd, that Senator Michael Bennet would be coming to Nuclear for a listening session to hear our side of the Halt the Dolores. Then the games began. The proponents said he really was coming on Friday, but for a private meeting with them and to do a fly over the Dolores River. Bennet would be in Nuclear at the high school to meet with the opposition at 1 p.m. Then that got changed to 3 p.m, so we would have more time on Sunday to meet with the proponents. On Tuesday, the town of Nature Reader put a notice on the old drive-in sign that Senator Bennett was coming. Scott Braden, the head of the proponents, took the sign and photoshopped it to change it to protect the Dolores on Facebook. Braden was called out by the town, quoting, "You are 3 steps over the line, Mr. Braden. With the photoshopping of our uranium drive-in sign, whether that was your intention or not, let me give you the backstory and consequences of this escapade. Shame on you for taking a beloved, iconic treasure of the community and defacing it for what the majority of the citizens do not believe in. Shame on you for falsely portraying on our town marquee a message we did not ask Senator Bennett to endorse. Shame on you for using a media that does not belong to you, nor do you have any right to its space. This sign was rescued from ruin by a fundraising campaign of people who grew up going to the uranium drive-in. It was their first date. It was a gathering place. It was a family movie night, and lifelong memories were made there. Shame on you for thinking you could intrude on that. Most of all, shame on you for the ignorance in believing our community would fall for such tactics. At the very least, an apology is needed, and a retraction from all the sites you posted this to." Signed, Kathy Cooper, Town of Nature Eater. As soon as Kathy called him out, the Facebook post came down. Also on Tuesday, Sean Pond, head of the Halt the Dolores group, talked to the owner of Blondie's in Nature Eater, the only place to eat in Nature Eater, and found out that they would be closed for the weekend because Camp V or 5 had hired him to do food for the 400 plus people who would be coming to Nature Eater on Friday to help promote the monument. The big question is, who is paying for all those 400 plus people to come here and stay at Camp V, with the food provided, to meet with Senator Bennett on Sunday morning for a private meeting? I had taken petitions to Moab to a friend, and he took them to his place of business to get signatures. I called him last week to say that I would be coming over to pick them up, and he told me he had 4 pages completed, and they would be at his store. When I arrived to get the petitions, someone had taken them. My friend and his employees all said that the petitions were there on the counter for me, but they got really busy with customers, and when they went to get the petitions for me, they were gone. On my way home, I stopped at the spring where there were stickers saying Halt the Dolores on a metal sign for stickers, and it was gone. So I restuck more stickers up. I have put up Halt the Dolores signs in bedrock 3 times, and they keep getting taken down. No, the wind did not blow them away. I had braced them with big rocks the size of basketballs. Scott Braden has a financial backer, known as Hans-Jörg Wyss, who has not only backed him financially, but has trained him on how to shut down public lands, closing thousands of miles of roads and trails, which is hurtful to ranchers, farmers, miners, and everyone else who enjoys the outdoors. This is his job. These are also the antics we are dealing with to fight the monument. The proponents have more money, and they don't care who they hurt as long as they get their way. What was the saying in the movie Field of Dreams? Build it and they will come? Well, they are coming, and they will continue to come. People who have never heard of this area are showing up to see what the proponents are talking about. The traffic has already increased. People are coming and camping where they shouldn't, bringing their trash and leaving it for locals to clean up. I want people to drive Highway 90 and see how bad the road is. Full of potholes and now trash. On Tuesday, someone did a lot of graffiti on a concrete barrier on Paradox Hill. There never used to be that kind of trash until they started this monument proposal. The roads in this area cannot handle the traffic and are falling apart just from the locals. So with 400 plus vehicles just this weekend, how much more will they fall apart? We do not have cell phone service from Naturita to Utah, and no ambulance or fire service in that area. What happens if there is an accident or a fire? Who is going to take care of it? Not the monument proponents. Sean and Danelle Pond, as well as Amy Tuca, have worked very hard to get the information out about what the proponents are trying to do here. Yes, the Ponds and Amy have had a lot of help from other citizens of the area, but they are the driving force behind all of us. On Sunday, the room was packed with more than 600 people in attendance, and maybe 100 more out in the lobby. We were very fortunate to have Cleve Simpson, District 5 State Senator, and Mark Catlin of House District 58 come and help us fight back on Sunday, June 9th. We also had candidates who are running for CD3, Ron Hanks, Russ Andrews, as well as Curtis McCracken and Stephen Varela. Lou Webb could not make it, but sent a representative with a statement in his stead. Also present were Larry Don Sukler, who was running for HD 58, Montrose County Commissioner Sue Hansen, and candidates for Montrose County Commissioner Scott Reber and Scott Miares, Rick Dunlap, and Lou Stark. Hansen did not get to speak, but she did give a statement to me as follows. We have had several meetings with Senator Bennett, and I feel we are making some headway. We will have more meetings, and I'm hoping that there will be a work on a supplemental proposal for us to redraw the boundaries of the monument and scale it down to a manageable size. Senator Bennett opened the meeting at 3 p.m. with a statement thanking everyone for coming out to see him. Everyone was given approximately 3 minutes to speak, and we heard from the proponents, protect this area for future generations. One gentleman said that the area has 160 miles of rafting on the river from McPhee Reservoir to the Utah state line that are needed for recreation. Another said that he grew up back east and came to this area as rafted, camped, hiked, and fell in love with the area and wants others to find this peaceful place and enjoy it as well. The area needs to be protected. It is so unique and special. One woman from Durango said that she wants the area protected so that others can see the true beauty of the area. In total, 7 people spoke in support of the monument and of the importance of protecting it from the people who have lived here and taken care of the land for 100 plus years. Opponent Amy Tuca also spoke. We are here because of our love of the community and this land. We are blessed to have this community and the Dolores River Canyon country as our home and our backyard. Tuca also said that the West End is a Tier 1 coal-affected community. There are 4 in the state of Colorado. The Colorado General Assembly and the Governor Polis signed House Bill 19-1314, declaring a moral commitment to this community for a just and inclusive transition away from coal. With the signing of this bill, it also created the Office of Just Transition and the Just Transition Advisory Committee, which I am a member of. The Colorado Just Transition Action Plan specifically states support and resources for our community to drive our own economic transition. We do not want to be force-fed a single recreation industry, nor do we want to be wiped off the map. Senator Bennett, if you and Senator Hickenlooper want to truly honor the commitment that the state of Colorado has made to this community, and you want to honor the principles of locally led conservation that President Biden has laid out in the America the Beautiful initiative, then let us write the monument proposal and let us design the map. I know we can do it better, more inclusive, and with truly local stakeholder input. As our senators representing the state of Colorado in Washington, D.C., please honor the commitment that the state of Colorado has made to this community, Tuca said. State Senator Cleve Simpson stated that he just found out about the monument in mid-March, and the calls, letters and emails have stacked up in his office over this issue. He hopes that Senator Bennett will take what the people here who live in the area have to say, give them more value, and weigh them against the outsiders who only come here to visit. The opposition had facts and true stories about why it should not happen. A woman from Gateway asked the question of the proponents, How would you feel if we came to your gated community, your cul-de-sac, camped, took away your freedoms, left our trash and invaded your home? We live here and take care of the land. You only visit and then you go home to your safe place. This is our safe place and you want to invade it. Senator Bennett said that he had taken a lot of notes and had not made a decision on the monument. In closing, the writer's own opinion is that we do not want the monument and we are willing to fight to keep the area the way it is. We are, and always have, been a good stewards of the land we love. City of Montrose approves childcare grant application by Caitlin Switzer. Montrose. As they have been in previous recent meetings, members of the public were waiting to address the Montrose City Council at the regular council meeting of Tuesday, June 4th. Mayor J. David Reed welcomed all and called the meeting to order. Councillor Judy Ann Files was absent. All other councillors were present. All joined in saying the Pledge of Allegiance. Mayor Pro Tem David Frank had no changes to the meeting agenda. Call for public comment on non-agenda items. Mayor Reed read the rules that apply to public comment and welcomed speakers to the dais. First to speak was John Brown, who said that as elected officials, city councillors have a responsibility to those they were elected to serve, stating, "You are merely one of us. We have entrusted you to be caretakers of all that we hold dear. We are all part of the fabric of this community, including our opinions." Brown asked that council take another vote on declaring Montrose to be a non-sanctuary city, stating, "I would encourage the council to have another vote on this as soon as possible. I hereby request that the topic for non-sanctuary city be put on the agenda again for public comment." Dave Stockton spoke. "I too want to talk about this ball that never stops bouncing." Stockton said that those wishing to put an issue on the ballot to have the city of Montrose declared to be a non-sanctuary city should do the work themselves by filing a petition and gathering the requisite number of signatures. They don't want to do that because it's a difficult task. Also, they might just find there is not enough support for it, Stockton said. The request for an official declaration of a non-sanctuary city is being driven by national politics. It's a request being driven by one man keen on the fears of people, those fears being we are being invaded by an army of brown-skinned people, he said. It's unfortunate that our country is being driven by partisan politics. It's also unfortunate that partisan decision-making has trickled down to the state and the county. You, as an elected body, in theory, is a non-partisan council. I ask that you cast away any regional and national political party pressures and make your decisions based on what is right by all the people. I ask that no further action be taken on this issue by council, he said. Next to speak was Tony Hogue of the Citizens Climate Lobby, who said that at the previous council meeting he was referred to as the climate guy. "I wear the name. I like it. It's a good fit," Hogue said. He asked that the city lead efforts to spur development projects that can reduce greenhouse gas emissions, and noted that the city has built a 164 kilowatt solar garage over the parking lot at the new public safety building. "Kudos to you for having the vision and energy to implement that project. Thank you. We're hoping that the city can do more projects to reduce greenhouse gas emissions." Hogue talked about 3 projects that have been identified in neighbouring Delta, including the public safety building, which will be heated with electricity, a 7-acre solar field, and approval of a microgrid power source to keep the lights on in an emergency. Hogue said that the new projects will take money and a vision to build. "My intent is good, and it is for the citizens of the city that I speak." Several volunteers from United Sovereign Americans spoke next, starting with Jim Day, stating, "Today I come to you as a citizen concerned about our voter database," Day said. Just like your checkbook must balance, so should our votes. If a company had that significance of a discrepancy in its books, the company would almost certainly conduct an audit. Our audit of the 2022 election, using only official data provided by state election official, shows that the 2022 election may not have been accurate or legally compliant. We are not saying any one candidate won over another, or that any election should be overturned. Today we will be presenting you with a resolution. We are happy to meet with you. This data and our request for an investigation have been shared with state election officials and with law enforcement. We are asking that you listen to the resolution, ask questions if you have them, and then vote promptly for its passage, he said. Two speakers, Anne Haldeman and Jill Lafferty, read the citizen resolution into the record. Haldeman spoke first. It is the duty of our election officials to ensure that our elections are accurate, free from distortion and manipulation. Votes counted must be eligible voters. The number of votes counted must equal the number of voters who voted. Lafferty listed a number of election guardrails that the United Sovereign Americans would like to see implemented, including audits and reconciliation to ensure compliance with existing federal laws. Ed Lafferty said massive inaccuracies were found in the 2022 election. You heard us asking for meaningful remedies. Laws are being ignored. Bottom line, the checkbook is not balancing. The cost is immeasurable. So I urge you to show your agreement by passing our resolution, he said. Lafferty referred councillors to the website Unite for Freedom. I encourage you to check it out. Next to speak was Phil Moomjean, who cited information from a report released by the Common Sense Institute and said that Denver has incurred costs of up to $340 million in caring for migrants. While this information comes out of Denver, I think it's naive to think that these issues aren't going to be coming to Montrose, he said. We're already seeing that influx. Denver decided local taxpayers should shoulder the costs. Who pays these costs in Montrose? Does Montrose collect this type of data on the school system? Does Montrose know the cost? Moomjean read portions of the Common Sense report and recommended that council undertake another vote on the resolution to become a non-sanctuary city. Karen Lee said that she had lived in Montrose for 13 years and works in the healthcare field. We've seen how much the city and county has grown in the last 13 years, and I concur with what the gentleman just said. We don't have the resources, Lee said. The hospital's taxed. We are hiring travellers at the hospital to handle what we have now. And to have more people come in, whether they're illegal immigrants or not, is going to tax our city severely as far as the highways. We've got the bridge out going to Gunnison. How are we going to handle more people going back and forth between here and there? Ron Smith spoke next. First of all, I pray and encourage a culture of cooperativeness and honour in your stewardship, serving your voters and your constituents in our city and community. Free of adversarial and intimidating and abrasive interchanges. Smith said, I pray and hope for the seriousness of us, the taxpayers, plea to make this city great for all our citizens. Smith asked council for greater accountability with regard to the successes and failures of taxpayer funding of private enterprise, particularly in restaurants, he said, where some restaurants are being funded to have a competitive advantage, and we're in an environment now where a lot of restaurants are struggling every day to even stay afloat. As for the climate world, Smith said, my wife and I have planted 27 trees on our properties. I don't know that we're going to make a massive difference in this world, but if we're going to go down that road, I really encourage that we focus on what will really help the environment and not be a transfer of wealth. Last but not least, I've had some recent travel through Denver, Smith said. A sanctuary city, even though some people won't agree with me, becomes a tent city with insidious abuse of drugs and alcohol. If you haven't driven by that area or a number of those areas, I suggest that you do so. I ask that you reconsider the vote on that proposition. Next agenda, approval of minutes. Council voted to approve the minutes of the May 21st regular council meeting, Resolution 24-08. Council voted to approve Resolution 2024-08 as discussed previously at Monday's work session. Resolution 2024-08 authorises the filing of a Colorado Department of Early Childhood employer-based childcare grant application for the purposes of adding childcare capacity within the city of Montrose. Eagle Ranch South Subdivision Preliminary Plat. Planner number 2 William Rees presented information of the Eagle Ranch South Subdivision Preliminary Plat. Staff recommended approval. Mayor Rees said, "There have been no changes since it was presented at work session, correct?" Rees said, This was not presented at work session." "Excuse me, my mistake," Reed said. "Comments from the public were taken and some are included in the meeting packet." Constituent Dave Stockton said that the drainage is a pressing concern. City engineer Scott Murphy spent time talking about the drainage situation. Following some discussion, those councillors present voted unanimously to approve the Eagle Ranch South Subdivision Preliminary Plat. And that's all we have time for today. Thank you for listening to the Montrose and Delta News.